How do you draw a horse's head? You're in the right place. Let's get this done. Dad who draws, and this is the daily draw. What we're going to focus on is basically the basic structure of a horse's head, and understanding the structure, because if you get that down, it's easier as a horse changes its head direction. You could start envisioning that structural element. First thing I'm going to do is draw on top of this drawing to show you where some of these structural things are, and then we'll actually draw one from scratch. Okay. So first thing I want you to think of when you're considering drawing a horse, to think of a kite. Okay. And where this comes from is this idea that we will have this shape. Okay, this is the shape that we'll have usually that faces on the top of a horse. We'll have that smaller cross section there, and this will usually go right to the top of the eyes. Okay, and then we'll have the center line and across. So that's a really great basis. The second thing I want to show you. Now that I got your attention, get down there, hit that subscribe button, hit me a like, and in the comments, tell me which animal you have the hardest time drawing, okay? All right, let's get back at it. Good job. Go make your day great. Is this idea too, is that, the front end of a horse is going to have a real, almost like a cube kind of feel to it. All right, and his muzzle is going to fit into there. So this is going to come across the top, and then we're going to come down through the front end there. And then the last element of a horse that we want to consider is this jaw area. If you think of the jaw as almost being more flat, like a flat disc, these are essentially the three elements that you want to remember when drawing your horse's head. I always recommend when we are going to start a drawing that we do three pieces to it. We go with gesture, then we go into construction, and then we go into detail. So let's quickly gesture this horse out really fast, this head here. So I'm going to hold my pencil by the back of it. I'm going to loosen up here, okay? And I'm going to draw lightly, and I'm just going to quickly put in some marks, trying to stay as light as possible, like I'm just skating across the page. Looking for verticals. And there you go. There's my quick gesture of a horse. I'm just jumping across, almost like the tip of your pencil was an ice skater or a jet airplane jetting across your page from here to here to here to here. Okay. All right. Now with that being said, now let's go ahead and move into a little bit of construction. So next thing I'm going to do is to set my anchor points of my kite. And I'm kind of looking for getting this angle. Yep, right where the eyes are across. And then I want to look for this angle for the center portion of our kite. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm going to start to roughly put that in there. And right about here is where I probably want to hit that bottom part right there. Okay. All right, let's get our box shape in. Now remember, let's go across almost the nostrils here, and the nostrils are going to be parallel with that line right there. So there is the parallel. Now before we drop in our nostrils, let's be mindful to see where they're lining up. So let's go over here, and I'm going to, no, I don't want to show that one. I'm going to bring in a new one here. So let's just say this is the edge of my nostrils, all right? And before I put the corner of the boxes in, where is this line? Oh, look. If I go a vertical line, it's falling in right about there. And on this one, oh, look, this is almost lining up with the outside of his head there. You see that? So let's try and put that in place. So if I'm going to estimate my eye is going to be there and my other eye is going to be there, that one nostril is going to be somewhere around in there. And this one is going to line up there. Okay, excellent. So I've got this little cross beam. Let's go ahead then and drop in our cube for the muzzle. And then let's bring this back. I'm just looking at construction right now, okay? You know, if you're having a hard time like drawing a cube, once again, these are key elements you really want to practice and have down. These masses are going to be the cube, the sphere. You want to get the cone down, the wedge, and then the cylinder or the oval. Okay, those are our key forms that you really want to have nailed down in your head of how to draw. I do have a free class for that called the Beginner's Workshop Part A that you can take totally for free. Then the next thing we want to do is to draw our corner, our half size of our disc. And as I'm looking at the picture, I could see that is going to start there, okay? And then it's going to come under here. But I do want to be mindful of my proportion when I'm doing this. So we have there are rules of measurement or tools of measurement, like I like to say. I've already used one, and that is the trying to line things up vertically with each other. I'm using a proportion there. Another one is the look at negative space. So I'm kind of, what I mean by negative space, I'm looking at this shape there. You see that? I'm looking at that shape right there. So when I'm going to draw this horse's head, I'm going to kind of look at, okay, that is going to come right at this angle, right about there. Okay, I feel good about that. So let's go ahead and draw a disc. Remember, this is going to curve around, so it's like a quarter of a disc. Okay. And we can get that in place. And I could see also that this front section is on the other side as well. You see this? So that right there would cover our construction. But before we go any more, let's add the ears in as well, okay? Because the ears kind of have the sense, and they almost have an opening like this where they go into almost like a cone. You see this? So we want to, this is where the sound is going to go in the ear and down into their brain, into their ear canal, to their eardrum. So we want to add that in place, and let's just kind of gesture where those ears are going to go. Then let's add an oval for the opening there. And then, of course, it's like a funnel. It's like a funnel what's going on here. You see that? So then from here, let's go ahead then and draw a nice long curve. And then get this. So now we're going to draw the shape. And now we can go in here and get some of the get more of the volume. Okay. Now look at this far side over here. Look at this far side here. This hair is going to be on top. We have a little bit of layering going on, and this is really important. This is a really small detail. Watch how this line comes here, and then the ear comes up around. You see that? This little bit of overlap shows you that the ear is behind that little part of his head, and we want to really consider that. Let's bring that up, and I'll show you. All right, so it's going to come around like that. You see that? Then you're going to stop short there. I'm going to zoom in here. And then you're going to come back just a little bit. Then we're going to come around. All right. Now that's going to show us that there's dimension and depth to our horse here. Okay. All right. Next, let's get these eyes lined up here. So I'm going to use another tool of measurement, and I can see, oh look, that eye is lining up with the outside of his ear. Okay. So let's do that. All right, let's get that lined up right there. And I'm going to use my guide here. So this is going to, this eye is going to drop down just like that. I'm going to come over here to the other side now, and I'm going to follow my guide. I'm also going to double check to make sure of this alignment as well. See, another vertical alignment. Okay, so I got that idea. So he's going to have to be on the outside here. And look at this now. Look at this. Look how close. Look at this. This wraps around the eye like that. You see that? And this overlaps that little bit there. And then the eye is popping out. Not popping out. But you can kind of get an idea over there. See that? I'll zoom in here. Okay? And of course, this other eye, you're also going to have the eyelid come down. All right. We're gonna add a little value in there. Okay, let's continue on down on our horse now. So we're gonna get down into this. I'm gonna move all the way down to his muzzle here. All right, there is his muzzle. Let's just check our alignment here. So we're going to center part there. Always using our construction to get this down, okay? Construction shapes and volumes are guidelines to really help us so we don't have to sit there and guess all the time. So this is going to come up like this. You see that? And then his mouth is going to also follow this. These are all following each other. Let's come over here. There's a slight curve there. And then we could just come around and finish his muzzle. All right, let's continue this here. This is overlaps ever so slightly. And then I think my jaw is a little bit bigger than what I intended. So I'm going to make that adjustment. And then I can see the back of his head is coming back over here. You see that? And now I'm looking at his neck area here, and this is coming down, and then it's coming in like that. Let's get that in. And you can also check, we've talked about vertical lines, but look at this. Here's another example of where you could check negative space. Look at that shape right there. You see that? See that negative shape? Let's try and match that shape. That is another tool of measurement. So I'm looking at that negative shape there, and it's, let's see, I'm coming around there, I think, just like that. Okay, not too bad. And then here's another one we can definitely check. Watch this. Look at this shape. So let's try that as well. So I'm going to come in like that. I'm looking at that distance. All right. That looks pretty good to me. Quickly throw in some tone to help get my horse here to turn, what I like to say is turn the corner. So let's bring him down here, and then he's got his whole muzzle area. And then, of course, we have this going on down here. And then you never can get away from drawing hair, right? You never know when it's going to show up again. Oh, we're going to have another lesson on practicing drawing hair, I think, right? So, wow, look at this. I don't know why I just started thinking about wild horses, and man, they're, of course their hair gets all mangy, huh? Right, I'm gonna just go in here now and add some surface lines to the hair and add some down here, and this is going to give a sense of, you see that, of a reflection, because I'm not going to, there, look at that. And I'm going to drop in a little more darker eyeballs here. Get those. And then now, let's just kind of go in here. I'm going to add some surface lines. And turn my drawing into something that I can hang. That I can hang on the refrigerator door. Now look at this. I've just noticed a problem of mine, and that's okay because you know, I probably didn't make the nose region a little bit. It was too short, but I'm okay with that. Let's see. We got a little value going on here. And this also is going to be darker in value. Okay, there's our horse head for this Friday morning. We went over. Just remember, we went over the different construction aspects. Remember, there were 3 of them, and one of them was getting a kite idea, right? That was number 1. Number 2 was looking for that cube for the muzzle on the nose. And number 3 was looking for that quarter of a disc. Yep, if we get those elements in, and then for bonus we talked about this idea of an ear of being like a cone. Essentially, that's what's going on. All right, so we've got those 3 parts. Listen, I've also put in our community tab a couple of different horses that you can apply these things to and give it a go. And that's it. I thank you for watching. I'm Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. And this is Friday of the Daily Draw. A dad who draws.